Right now, Peter Ferrara is with us. Welcome back to the program, Peter. He's the General Counsel for the American Civil Rights Union, the conservative analog of the ACLU. The ACRU.org is their website. There's a link over at thomhartmann.com. Peter Ferrara, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you with us, Peter. I found this absolutely fascinating, this piece that you wrote called The Obama Watch, The Coming Resignation of Barack Obama. Why is it from the side of conservatives and Republicans that no matter what kind of crime a Republican commits, no big deal. But when a Democrat comes into office, whether it's Bill Clinton, with repeated investigations, oh my God, what did his wife's law firm do 20 years ago? You mean he was involved in a land deal and he lost $36,000 37 years ago? That the Democrat is illegitimate. Here, your blog, The Coming Resignation of Barack Obama?
Yeah, I'm not calling for his resignation. I'm predicting it here.
Okay.
Because of the, I explained in the article, all the events that I think are going to lead to his resignation.
For example?
It starts with the Sestak affair, where President Obama induced Senator Arlen Specter to switch parties with a promise that he would.
Where he did the same thing that Ronald Reagan did. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't know about that, but that wasn't a crime. Obama,
no, it wasn't a crime when Reagan did it, and it's not a crime. It wasn't a crime when actually Obama didn't even do it. It was Bill Clinton who did it.
Actually, well, you're not listening.
And by the way,
that wasn't the point. You're not even listening to the point I made.
Okay.
Obama induced Specter to switch parties in return for a promise they would have no primary opposition. And then Joe Sestak, who was a Democrat congressman, had already declared for the seat. He said, "No, I'm not getting out." Now,
oh, I see. Okay, you're right.
The story
Okay.
now is that it's Joe Sestak himself who's claiming that he was offered a high-level administration appointment in return for getting out of the...
Right, and that's the part that I'm saying. Ronald Reagan offered jobs like that also to people not to participate in politics. It's well documented. And in fact, this wasn't done by President Obama. It was done by Bill Clinton. And, by the way, this is an unpaid job, so there's no crime here.
It doesn't matter if it's unpaid. It doesn't matter if it's done indirectly. If anything of value that's offered, and the story that they're now telling with Bill Clinton, in fact, it indicates that they're lying to the American people, because Joe Sestak could not have taken a presidential board advisory position because he was a member of Congress, and he could not take the two jobs. So it's not plausible at all that that's what happened, and what it's indicating to me is now they're engaged in a cover-up, and they're lying to the American people. Because
Peter, if you want to go after Obama, you want to go after a Democratic president, and I get it, and you can continue your list in a second. I know you've got a few more. But why not go after him for the things where you're going to find broad agreement among the American people? George Bush lied us into 2 wars. Barack Obama is continuing them. George Bush built torture facilities at Bagram Air Force Base and around the world, black sites, these so-called non-existent sites where people are being tortured. He did illegal rendition, violations of international treaties. President Obama is continuing those things. Why not at least go after him for things that nobody can refute, and B, you'd probably get some agreement about?
Well, listen, I'm not calling for his resignation in this article. I'm predicting it. Now, all those things are things which, in fact, reinforce my case, because... there
are also good reasons why we should retroactively impeach George Bush.
I'm not saying that he's going to be thrown out of office because of the Sestak affair. Democrats are going to have to make the decision of whether they believe that presidents are above the law or not. Right now, the way things stand right now, Republican presidents are... One of the reasons to vote Republican for president is that Republican presidents are subject to the rule of law. We saw that with Nixon. If they break the law, they get thrown out. But that's not true of Democrat presidents.
Oh, wait a second. If Republican presidents break the law, they get thrown out. So when Valerie Plame, a CIA officer, got outed, what happened?
Bush didn't break the law there. I'm sorry.
He didn't. So outing a CIA officer.
Did you follow that story?
I did very closely.
The leak was done by this liberal State Department guy.
It was done by a guy named Dick Cheney. It was done by a guy named Dick Cheney through Scooter Libby.
But Democrats are
Scooter Libby went to jail for that.
If President Obama violated the law, do you think that he should be thrown out of office? If he violated the law in the Sestak affair, would you agree that he should be removed from office? You guys have to decide that because I'm not saying here the Republicans are going to move him from office. It's the Democrats who are going to give up on him at a certain point, and they're going to.
So when George Bush lied to us about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq,
I didn't lie. I don't agree that he lied to you.
He didn't lie. Okay. So the Republican presidents essentially can do no wrong, but a Democratic president, let's see if we can find any little thing. Did his wife work for a law firm that she shouldn't have worked for? Where's the papers after all? Did he fire somebody in the travel agency? You guys spent $74 million investigating Bill Clinton before you finally hit pay dirt and discovered that he was getting it on with an intern. And I would submit that even that wasn't a crime. But
no, it wasn't a crime.
I know he lied about it, and that was the crime. Bloody, bloody, blah.
And you guys said, well, breaking the law is not enough to rip.
And he was impeached for it, and he lost his law license over it, and he paid a fine for it, and he was punished for it. But there was no punishment for George Bush for any of his crimes. In fact, Bush came out today and said if he could waterboard Khalid Sheikh Mohammed again, he'd do it. The same week that China says we're no longer going to use confessions extracted under torture in courts of law. China gets it, the communist dictatorship. George Bush doesn't get it. This guy committed war crimes. He should be in the dock at The Hague. I don't get it. Why would you want to go after President Obama for some trivial political thing that you're calling a crime when the previous president was committing major international crimes for which heads of states have in the past been look at Slobodan Milosevic spent years in the Hague for that.
What you established with the Clinton administration, with the Clinton controversy, is that when a Democrat president breaks the law, that's not enough to remove him from office. And so it's you Democrats who have to decide if you really think presidents are above the law. Right now, one reason to vote Republican is that Republican presidents are subject to the rule of law. If they break the law, they get thrown out of office. You established in the Clinton affair that was not true of Democrat presidents, and apparently you're going to establish it again.
Well, Richard Nixon did not get thrown out of office.
If he's proved that, the Democrats voted
Peter Ferrara, Nixon didn't get thrown out of office. He resigned, as did his vice president. Both of them resigned to avoid prosecution. Are you suggesting that Bush is not above was not above the law or was above the law?
Bush is not above the law, so any crime he committed, he should be prosecuted for, and any crime
I'm glad to hear that, Peter.
Removed from office for.
And do you think that we should continue to pursue?
Clinton committed a crime. We proved that Clinton committed a crime, and the question is now on the Sestak affair. If it's proven that Obama's committed a crime, you guys have to decide if you think your Democrat presidents are subject to the rule of law. I interpret your position currently to be that they are not subject to the rule of law. If they break the law, that's no problem.
My position, Peter, is any president, regardless of his party, is subject to the rule of law.
It goes beyond that.
And that George Bush should be in the dock at The Hague right now for war crimes.
The Democrats are falling away supporting him because of his misfeasance with the oil spill.
Okay, Peter, the ACRU.org, Peter Ferrara. Thanks, Peter.